Hey there, and a very warm welcome to this video. And in this video, we're going to store the details, the data we crawled from Ankur Wariku's website, right? So if you haven't watched that video yet, you can definitely consider watching that video as well. But let's not uh, go to that section, and let's focus on this video. So uh, let's just first, connect our MongoDB Atlas to our MongoDB Compass. And for that, you have to go to the MongoDB Atlas website, and you have to make account there. After that, you have to make uh, a cluster, and for that you have to click on this create button. Then you have to go on shared, and you can select your cloud provider. So I'm just going with AWS. Then here you have to select your nearest location, right? So for me it's Mumbai, so that's why I use Mumbai. Then after that you just have to click on this create cluster, and your cluster will be created for free, right? As you can see here as well. So yeah, after that you can click on this and your cluster will get made. I have a cluster already, that's why I'm not making it. After that, what you have to do is that you have to go on this database access, right? As you can see, you have to click on this, and you'll be on this page. So what you have to do next is that you have to click here, add new database user. Then you have to make a right, you have to give a username, then a password, and then you can create it by clicking on this, right? So you have to also make one thing clear in your mind, is that the password, right? So the password you're going to enter right here is going to be important, right, for connecting MongoDB with your Python code. So remember this, right? And just click on this add user. Your this database user will get created. I have one already, which is Atharvakshat167, but you know what, I'm going to make one in front of you guys. So I'm going to make YouTube DB, all right, and I'm gonna give the password 12345 YouTube. Right, so if you click on this temporary user, what will happen is that you can basically select for how much duration of time your database user will be there. So if I click here, this is going to happen. I'm just gonna click here because I don't want it to stay forever, and I just want to delete it after 6 hours. So I'm just gonna click here and click here add user, and my user will get created, I think, right? Okay, so you know what? After giving your username and password, you have to select your role. So there are three roles. I want to read any database, or all right. So I want to read and write to any database. So I'm going to click here, and I am also going to check this box because I want it to delete after 6 hours. If you don't want it, you just have to ignore this, and you have to click here on add user, and yeah, just like that. I'm not going to save it, right? But you have to keep this in mind that you have to remember the password of this YouTube DB database user. All right. Then after that, what I'm going to do is that I am going to open the folder in which I have crawled Ankur Wariku's website, right? So I don't know. Okay, it's right here. So I'm going to open it in terminal and do code space dot to open it in VS Code basically, and it will get opened. Yeah. So if you see here, this is the code, and this sorry. Okay, so this is the code we write, and this is the details we crawled from his website. But we want these details into our MongoDB Compass, right? So I'm just going to open my MongoDB Compass because that is what I was going to do, right? I was going to connect my Atlas to my Compass. So let it open, and all right, I'm going to click on new connections. Then here, what you have to do is that you have to go here. Then I think you have to go on database, this database, right? And you have to click on this connect, right? Basically the cluster you created will be here. So I've created Mongo YouTube, so it's there, and I'll click here on connect, and then I'll click on this compass. Then I'll copy this string, right, as you can see. And what I'll be doing is that I'll paste it right here, and I'll replace this username and password with the username and the password I gave on my database user, right? So what I'm talking about is basically this, right? So I have given YouTube DB as my username, so I'm gonna replace this with it. So yeah, and the password is what? So the password was 12345 YouTube, right? I think it was it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to click on save and connect, and I'm gonna choose a color red and Mongo YouTube. I'm going to name it, and I'm going to click on save and connect. So it will get connected, right? Yeah, it got connected, as you can see. So I have some other databases as well, but we don't want to get inside of that. So what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to open PyMongo's documentation. If you're wondering what is PyMongo, so let me tell you that PyMongo is basically a module that connects your Python code with MongoDB, right? So I opened its documentation. If you don't know how, so you just have to uh, search for Mongo docs and you'll get the first website of Read the Docs, right? So, okay, what I have to do is that firstly I have to import it. Of course, I have to import Mongo, so I'm going to import it. So from Mongo import Mongo client, right? This was it in the documentation only, as you can see. Then what you have to do is that you have to make a client. So I'm going to make a client like this. So if you see here, there are some characters here. So what is this characters? Is basically uh, this. What you have to do right here is that you have to click on these three dots and then you have to click on this copy string connection and you have to minimize it then and you have to paste it right here, right? So these are the characters basically. All right. So I am going to do something like this, making a C client. All right. And let's see what else we have to do after that. So we have to get a database. That means we have to create a database. And how we can do that? So we firstly have to name it, right? So I mean, we have to name a variable for it. Then we have to click. Then we have to do something like this. So client dot, right? So client is basically the connection we made with our MongoDB. And then after dot, we have to name the database we are going to create. So I'm just going with variku. What is this actually? Variku underscore data. All right, data. And actually it's double R. All right. So I'm going to do this. After that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get a collection. And if you're wondering what is collection basically in general, so let me tell you uh what is collection. Okay, so if I come to my MongoDB campus and if you see here, there is already a database created, right? We created this in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, you can definitely go ahead and watch that video as well. So I'm going to click this database, and if you see here, and inside of this database, there is something other as well, right? Like this folder icon is showing. So this is basically the collection, and the collection is the place where all the data is saved, right? As you can see. So yeah, we're going to make a collection, and how we can do that? So we just have to do something like this only. So we have to make a variable, then we have to connect it with our deep database, which is basically a variable we named db. So db, then the collection. So I'm going to do something like this. So I'm going to name this collection variku underscore data underscore collection. All right. So that is how you can name your collection, just like you named your database. And after that, what you have to do is that basically a format in which you want to save the data, right? So yeah, this, and then you have to make a format in dictionary format basically, right? So I'm going to remove this, and I don't want these to write. I just want how I want the data to get stored is that basically uh, social media, then it's link, right? So I'm going to give social and then the link. So what is the link basically? What is this link? What are these links? So you know what, I'm going to do links here. And firstly, let's see what are these: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, right? So if I scroll down and right, so I think it's this a tag dot script, right? So you know what, I'm going to copy this new a tag because it's a tag dot script only, and I'm going to paste it right here, right? You don't have to worry about the error we're getting because we're going to overcome that. Then what is the link? So link is basically a false href, right? So href, and we're going to paste it right here. And let's see what else we have to do. So for finally inserting the document in our MongoDB, uh, how can we do that? So we can do that by doing something like this. We have to make a variable. So this is basically you can name this variable anything. Then you have to do posts dot insert one. And if you're wondering what is posts, so I think post is basically this collection, right? So you have to give collection here, basically the variable you named for your collection. So yeah, I've named collection variable for my collection only, so that is why I gave here collection. Then you have to use this dot inserted id method, and then you have to inside the brackets, you have to give the document you want to store the data. Then you have to do dot inserted id, and then you finally have to return it. I'm going to return post id, right? uh yeah, I think so we have to do that. All right. Now, what we're going to finally do is that we're going to make a function, right? So def insert to db, and I'm going to take two arguments, which will be new a tag and href. Alright, if you're wondering why I did this, so you'll get to know that. Just have to wait for it. Okay, so after that, I'll give indentation to all of this, and okay, href. So as you can see, we have overcome the error we were getting. So yeah, this is the function we've made, and to finally make it work, what can we do is that we basically have to run this def insert to mongo function into this def parse, right? Why? Because def parse is the thing that which we use while using scrapy, right? So while we are doing some scraping work or crawling work with the help of scrapy, what we do is that we basically run our def parse only, right? So we have to return our this insert to db function into our this def parse function, because we want to we want key our insert to db function run. So yeah, that is what we have to do, and that is what I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to do insert to db, and I'm going to give the variable values as well. So the new a tag will be this new a tag, and the href, which means basically the link, will be this href, right? So I'll be doing this only. And if you're wondering why I didn't did this, because this is also inside of def parse, right? So I didn't do this because new a tag was all right, sorry, because new a tag was inside of this, if a tag is not none only. So that is why I had to do this. So yeah, and you know what, let me again try to open a terminal, and I am going to do cd variable right here, and now I'm going to do scrapy crawl variku uh, variku right here, and let's just hope for the best. So all right, it ran, and let's just hope that database named variku data is in our MongoDB compass. So let's just refresh it by clicking on this, and yeah, as you can see, variku data is now created, and if I click on this, then the collection of variku data is also there. So if I click on this as well, you can see all the social media with its link is with its respective links are there, right? So social YouTube link is there, social Instagram the link is there, social Twitter the link is there, and the link of all the social medias are there, right? You can verify them as well. So yeah, definitely it worked, and I hope you understood what I wanted to understand, right? You can definitely go ahead and use my code as well, or at least you can use my code to learn and apply to your projects. So I hope I helped you guys, and the source code of this code will definitely be in the description of this video. You can definitely contact me as well. My email address is also given. So yeah, we'll meet soon. Till then, bye.